go now, baby. You push the pedal, turn the crank, pound the pavement, run that race, set that goal, give it chase. Don't be afraid and join the ranks of the ones who say I'll see what I got and get what it takes and see how far I can make it. Even if I shoot for the moon and I don't quite get there, well at least I know that I can ride my bike with no handlebars. And so can you. You can do what you do and do it well, do it better. We gonna go. Here we go. We gonna go. We gonna go. Right on. Let me ask you why you do what you do. Where you been? Where you wanna go? Do you even know how you gonna get there? Well, come along with me. And together we'll see what I can learn from you and you can learn from me. The sky's the limit, you'll see. Here we go. On your mark. Ready? Well, let me put it to you.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the SZR Summer Racing Series. And we are underway out on the Richmond Worlds course with the racing today already, actually. So we'll get right into it as today we will be having a mass start with the A, B, C, and D categories all starting together today. And we can jump right in to the front of the racing, I believe, here with the A category in the SZR Summer Racing Series. As you can see here, we do have up toward the front of the A category. Now, it was a mass start. I'll give a quick little explanation, guys and gals out there, on what is happening in front of you with this mass start right now. It was a mass start, meaning that all of the riders did get going together out on course. There were not separate categories today in the race as far as the event module is concerned. So they all started together, but there are separate categories that they have placed themselves in by putting a little A, B, C, or D in brackets next to their name. As you can see with B. Curtis here, currently riding for the BRT team. Let's go ahead and see if we can get a good shot of B. Curtis hanging out in that Power Tap kit. As you can see, the BRT do use that orange, gray, and white kit. It does look like he's sitting comfy toward the front of the race right now in the A category. And so B. Curtis here, 6.7 watts per kilogram or so, and has that B next to his name, as you can see right there. So as far as the categories go, still having those categories. The A category here with Christoph out of Sweden, as well Jay Hansen there now just kicking it up onto the cobbles. The one section out on course that they do have prior to, I believe, the course today they are doing. Let's take a quick little look at zwiftpower.com, and I believe we did not have our usual course preview today with the Velo Viewer. So we'll go ahead and jump into zwiftpower.com and try and get you guys and gals a look at the. Can we bring up zwiftpower.com? It's saying that zwiftpower.com is not liking me right now. We'll see if we can get that going for you guys. But I believe we are going to be on. What course are we going to be on? We'll have to take a look and see right here for the update. Oh, Richmond Worlds right above me there. As you can see, we'll be on the Richmond Worlds course, as you can see, for the full lap. So Hansen here going off the front, 7 seconds already. This is a really brave move coming from Hansen here out of Denmark, 5.3 watts per kilogram or so. This is really, really early to be trying to get away already. So definitely going to be a long day off the front for Mr. Hansen if his expectation is to stay away. We do see Gwen Var here out of Sweden, as well as Ebeline and Hodges, along with Spears and Christopher, all trying to bring back that break, that solo break from Hansen at this point. We do look back just a little bit from John Sung, as well as Bruno Bierby hanging in there tough. A's and B's making this first lead group. And we do have, it looks like Adrian Timmis actually from Kane Sports, ex-Tour de France rider here, hammering away, as well as D. Atwell there. Good to see Atwell hammering away as well. A lot of familiar names and faces here. Now, toward the back then, the A's and the B's is what we are looking at. We can start moving backwards a little bit more, though, from our other feed, and see what is happening in the C category as they are making their way. It looks like the C and the D category here are making their way onto the flat course in just a moment here. We are going to look at, let's see, the leader currently, I believe, of the D category right now. So definitely something I want to start focusing on a little bit more. And as you can see here, it will be Valadrez coming out of the USA, I believe, currently leading the D category out on course right now. Weebassel's saying, is this live? Yes, turn down Zwift's sound, Nathan, all over it. Our feeds did get a little bit wacky, so I will make sure to bring that down quite a bit here. So we do have two separate feeds, and there we go. It has been brought down, so there you not quite as loud as far as the rolling over the cobbles. The cobbles do get pretty loud actually out on course, so definitely need to be watching out for that and not making it too much of a noisy experience for all of you out there when it comes to the in-game sounds. So as you can see here, for the D category, I believe this might be a break actually for them. Trying to chase down M. Bunting here in the C's, and then looking forward just a little bit, we can see some of the back of the C category as well. See if I can make a little sense of who is where in the C category. We do have NH from Race WBR. Keep on moving on forward. A couple of the B category riders, it looks like. toward the back end of that main chase group. You can see about 31 seconds back from Quentin LaFay, who is in the main chase group for the A's and the B's. So it does look like NH here from Race WBR is the current leader in the C's. We're going to head toward the front of the race here, but we'll be able to bring in the results though for the C category currently, which are right above me. NH from Race WBR, as well as Pelotas and Vestman, Domingos, T Mitchell, SZR, Vestman, M Bunting, and Kapala currently holding down the top 10 in that category right now. We do see that at the front though of this A category race. We can go ahead and bring in the main Zwift here without our current results. And see up above us here, it's going to be Spears up at the top here, leading things out, 4.1 watts per kilogram, 139 beats per minute. Everybody's taking it fairly easy at this point. 156 at the front here from Christopher. Hummenbakken here out of Norway, 3.7, 156 again. S. Hartley then 816. Out of the USA, it looks like Caden Sports, Adrian Timmis here looking fairly comfy, 140. So everybody taking it really easy at this point. It's a flatter section of the course, so definitely not a time to really be pushing too hard out on the course just yet. We are seeing a lot of people actually chatting over at the Twitch channel. Good to see all you guys tuning in and chatting in here. Missed you in the Kiss PM last night. B Basalt's coming from Frank the Tank. Johan Wallstrom in there saying ANT plus dropout. Sorry to hear that, Wallstrom. Always good to see you in the races. Beck says, I'm peaking for Zwift races, guys. Just kidding. Lots of good MTB races in the Mid-Atlantic. Wilderness 101. Nice, Beck. Good to hear it, man. And Frank the Tank saying, shame for sure. Need to come visit your buddy Dunlap in Roanoke. So good to see you guys. Actually, a lot of people, looks like from the racing community out on the East Coast chatting in the Twitch channel, actually. Good to see all you guys there. So moving forward then, this is a huge group actually, but Hansen has gone again off the front, 6.7 watts per kilogram as they're heading down toward the industrial parts section here in just a moment. They will head, as you can see in the upper right hand corner, the course profile. And on the downhill section there, Hansen's going to have his work cut out for him to stay away from the rest of this group. 10 seconds is all the gap is. And when you look over his shoulder, you can see exactly in just a moment here. He's probably almost out. He's out of sight right now, but there they are. There's that chase group. They've got him within their sights, and I'm not sure they're going to let him go much of anywhere, as we do see Agras out of Sweden here, heading toward the front, 3.5 watts per kilogram, nothing serious. I don't think they believe this is going anywhere. 28 miles per hour, 25, 24 coming from Hansen. As you can see, the group travels so much faster as anybody at the front just pushes the pace a little bit, which causes everybody behind to up their pace and then come on through, create a drafting situation over and over again as people make their way to the front. And that pack just keeps on building speed. Hansen only with 2 seconds at this point and is caught again by the peloton. So Hansen gave it another try, but it didn't go anywhere just yet. I do have open for everybody. I do have the chat over at the Facebook as well. So if you would like to interact over there as well, we can see all the comments from all of you over at the Facebook as well as at the Twitch. We do not have any social media integration today. Apologies, we were not able to bring it in today, so we can't integrate your comments directly. But you can at Z Community Live, and we will be able to see those. If you would ever like to follow us over on Twitter, at Z Community Live is the easiest way to find us on Twitter. So moving through here, it looks like it's fairly calm at this point. In the A category, we can take a look real quick at what the top 10 currently are out on course. It does look like it's going to be Agras Whitehead, Curtin Spruvera, Guinevere Hansen, Quinn LaFay. It looks like Vision Cycling there. Hulmenbakken. Now it has swapped, though, the last time they came through. I believe the last time it would have probably been through the sprint banner. We can see that the watts per kilogram that have been held so far have been fairly high. Jay Hansen with with a heart rate of 180 the last time they came through that checkpoint. So definitely putting out a serious effort this last time they came through a checkpoint. Looks like Clive in here, only 3.7 watts per kilogram, has been taking it fairly easy from that BRT team. Definitely somebody to watch out for, as he has been, I believe, holding on to as much energy and effort as he possibly can until they hit that Libby Hill. He knows where the deciding moments are out on course here, so definitely gonna save up, it looks like. And the ones who are holding back, I think, at this point are definitely the ones to be watching out for. Whitehead 4.0 watts per kilogram, Timmins 4.1, 4.2 from Hodges. It looks like Guinevere's been working really hard at about 4.6. All the heart rates fairly low, though, at this point. We know that Libby Hill, 23rd Street, and Governor Street are the real deciding points out on this course. And moving backwards then just a little bit, we're going to see what's happening in the B and C category. We do see the main chase group here in the C category. It looks like the B results will pop up above me here. It does look like Guy from PTZ there, Christopher, Spears, Thander, Hogginson, Atwell in that main chase group for the A's and the B's. But up toward the front here, we do have SZR here. Domingos is there as well from the PTZ. It looks like Ornlid and Palotas as well in the C category. We can bring in, let's see if we can actually move some things around here a little bit, as we will be able to get some better shots here of what is happening in the C category right along with their results actually in the B's as well. So in the B category here, we are seeing, it looks like, in the lead, M. Pereira, I believe, as the main chase group that has not made it actually into that front group. So this is that main chase group containing the chasers for the Bs. The rest have gone off the front at this point, are about to head through the industrial park and into Libby Hill in just a moment or two. And then at the front of this B race, we will be able to bring in their results here in just a second. Let's see. Yep, we can bring them in. It does look like it's different times of day, though, on the two feeds that I have. It's really interesting that when you log in at different times, it does keep track on your own computer locally. So it is daytime over here for G. O'Malley, and then over here on our other feed that we're going to bring in for having the B results there, we can see that it is nighttime actually for G. O'Malley over here. So it looks like in the lead, though, we do have Guy from PTZ, followed by Christopher and Spears, and then Thander and Hogginson, followed by Otwell. We don't have any of them in the feed here, it looks like, so a lot of these boys did not make it. It looks like Baker as well as Pereira and the rest are just on the edge of that top 10 in the B category, as you can see above me there in the results right now. We're going to see if we can move forward and find the front of this race, though, in the A category. We are waiting for it to pop. It looks like those boys got away so incredibly quickly that they have completely left the feed at this point. So we'll move back and see what we can find for the C and the D category as we wait to find the front end of this race. At the front of the C's, then, though, I think it will be Vestman and Vanderwald. I believe we will be able to bring them into the cast here with the correct result above me. And it looks like, according to ZwipPower.com, Pelotas, along with NH from Race WBR, yep, there they all are. They're all in this group, actually. Large group of C racers have made this pack here, as you can see. Solid 3.1, 3.3, 3.2 coming from a lot of these boys and girls. Again, the C category is a 2.5 to 3.2 watts per kilogram. Domingos, a lot of these guys and gals at this point that are going to be in this category are most likely a little bit over effort for the first 20 minutes or so. They're only 15 minutes into their race, so having over 3.2 watts per kilogram at this point is not really that big of a deal, as a lot of times they, as you can see, 166 was the heart rate that they had coming through the last section. So it's definitely going to be a situation here where they've put out a huge effort and it's going to drop prior to the next section out on course. We do have now, as you can see, heading into the climb right now on Libby Hill, the front end of this race, the pointing end of the race right now. We do have up at the front, it looks like Jay Hansen, followed by Bruno Vieira, about 3 seconds back. So he has immediately gotten about a 3-second gap, actually, over the rest of the racers here. So looking over from the helicopter point of view here, we do have Badur from Vision Cycling along with Caden Sports, and then Bruno Vieira here trying to make that chase. But Hansen with a 4-second gap at this point. Not sure it's going to be made up, as now we do have the look here from the over the top camera here. Caden Sports trying to make that chase. Bruno, it looks like Bador now as well, 7.0 watts per kilogram. There's the gap, it looks like, to PTZ Bruno Vieira. We do see just a little ways ahead. There is Hansen just crossing up over the top on that Tron bike. There goes Bador there out of France, followed very closely by Caden Sports. There's the gap between the riders. Then right behind them, Bruno Vieira also on the Tron bike from the PTZ team trying to get back on terms. There's the gap that you can see right now, as it is just a few meters. Are they going to get all back together at this point? But it's Badura now going off the front with Caden Sports, and it looks like Hansen now on the back foot with 191 beats per minute. So definitely a great attack over the top of Libby, but the continuance was there from the rest of the riders, and they just kept the speed right up over the top. 28 miles per hour, followed by Caden Sports, also 28. Bruno Vera now 30 miles per hour, knowing he needs to get back on terms with these riders right now from PTZ, as Hansen there now 3 seconds off the back was the initial instigator, but now suffering for his efforts there, as we do see Caden Sports here along with Bruno Vera seeing that the one of the main threats here, which would be Hansen, falling off the back. Caden Sports now getting that super tuck there, gets right on the wheel of Bruno Vera, and now they're going to be heading on up 23rd Street here in just a moment. This is a serious effort here from these three boys as they create the initial lead group. It's always all about the Libby Hill, the 23rd Street, 12% gradient right now, 162 beats per minute coming from Adrian. Bador here now 165, 582 watts, 9 watts per kilogram. Bruno Vieira now coming right on by at 8.1 watts per kilogram, 168 beats per minute now. All these boys now up into that 5, 6, 100 watts. As they come up and over the top here, you can see there is a crazy amount of effort as Bador there is up and out of the saddle. Bruno Vieira now 3.8 watts per kilogram, fading a little bit as Bador now goes to the front and continues right on with that speed, 27 miles per hour. It's going to be all about this crazy amount of speed that you can hold up and over the top here. 31 to 28. He will be gaining second by second here for every single pedal stroke. He continues up and over the top here. Tim is now seeing the threat here, makes it way to the front, but then tucks right on in to look for as much speed as he can possibly get on the downhill here. 39 miles per hour to 42, I think, is all it's gone. It's gone out to 8 seconds. I wouldn't doubt 9 or 10 seconds at some point. Now it's dropping just a little bit, though. We'll see if these two can get back on terms, though, with the Frenchman, who is going from the end of this lap here. See if he can hold off for a full lap out on course today in this SZR Summer Racing Series. What a crazy attack there. And this will be the lead group, it looks like, for the day. We'll see if they can hold on to this pace, though, and hold off. It looks like a chasing group containing a setup out of Denmark here with, it looks like, Hodges and Cliven, as well as Quentin Lafay. 24 seconds back from them. Jay Hansen, the initial instigator, now falling backwards very, very quickly, while Atwell, along with Whitehead and the rest, do come up on him. Is he going to be able to hang on even to these wheels, as he was just moving backwards here? He's going to have to grab a wheel here very quickly, or it's going to be curtains again for the Jay Hansen here. 1 second already, 167 beats per minute, used on a huge amount of matches, it looks like, prior to this Governor Street climb, and it's going to be a hard day for him, I think, to hang on to the top of Governor Street. Back to the front now, we do have, it looks like, Jay Lay Bador here, followed by Timmins, who now is almost right back on terms, 157 beats per minute. Bruno Vieira there, 162, it looks like, as well. And now they have rested up a little bit. They look like they got about 10 to 15 beats to work with to the top of this climb. We'll see at 155, I believe. Badur has got a lot to work with yet, but here comes Adrian, 6.1 watts per kilogram. Bruno Vieira now, it looks like, also 5.7. It looks like SZR as well as Cliven, though, they're not giving up, as Quentin Lafay is sitting on the back here, 172 beats per minute, trying to get back on terms with this front group. I think they might have a front group forming here, unless the boys that have about 5 seconds right now really turn the screws up and over the top. So, CS Tricks, good to see Mr. Casey Shum hanging out over at the Twitch broadcast. Good to see you over there, Casey, as always. So it looks like 6.2 watts per kilogram coming from Adrian. Now as he climbs over this 7% gradient that he can most likely feel in the game, we'll go ahead and give him a ride on and see if he can hold on to this gap of 2 seconds that he has created for himself over the top of the climb. You can see there is nobody really within sights too much there. It is a 12-meter gap here. Bruno Vieira now kicking into about it's only 3.8 watts per kilogram. And I believe this A setup here, man, what an effort from him. 167 beats per minute. He's just been coming on like a freight train, actually, as he has continued to just pick off the boys who have gone off the front one by one, and now is just going right on by, actually, for maybe looking for the fastest lap out on course. And I believe he will have the fastest lap because he has made this chase from behind here. This will be a serious effort from Ace up here. I wouldn't be surprised to see an orange jersey on the yep. And so 21:36, 1 second faster than any other currently out on course right now. Quentin LaFay now sitting in on this long line, hanging on to Badur here, looking to grab a wheel and rest up, but it is a long strung out line at this point, so I believe these boys are working really hard. As you can see, they are not pelotoned up, they're not holding hands at this point. It is definitely an all-out effort out on course. So back to let's go ahead and see what's happening in the B category and C category here. It looks like the C's are just starting to make their way up and over the top of Governor Street climb here. And Vestman here looks like it was the leader the last time through the checkpoint, but it looks like we do have an attack here coming from Hazarika Stephanie from the BRT team in this C category. So I believe, oh no, I'm sorry, excuse me, he's in is he in the C category? I'm seeing BRT in the name. Yeah, he's got C up there. Excuse me. I'm so used to looking at the right-hand side and forget that we now have it right in front of us at the top of the screen. So it looks like Stephanie here was not actually in the results, as you can see above me, because there was such a large group, but it looks like has been able to make his way to the front of this race, along with Mitchell and Vestman are starting to make a little bit of break on the rest of the C riders here at a solid 4.2 watts per kilogram or so. It looks like, so then it's going to be Vestman, Stephanie, Baker then right along with them from the B category, but it looks like NH from Race WBR along with Vanderwall here out of the Netherlands, and it looks like Pereira from the PTZ team. Going to have to get back on terms with Ornlid and Dominguez, who is having the highest watts per kilogram actually for the duration of the race in the C category so far, but is definitely fallen off pace just a little bit from the front of this C race. So it's not always the strongest watts per kilogram out there. It's also what kind of dynamic kicks you have out on course in order to create those time gaps at the right times. There's definitely a technique, even within Zwift, about when to use the power at the right times. It's all about speed, not just about power, and how to produce the most amounts of speed at the right times. Vestman here, 3.0 watts per kilogram coming out of Sweden, 2.5 there. Mitchell then along with Hazarika and Baker hanging right on in this C category. Back to then the front of the A race. Let's go ahead and see what we can bring in here for them. As we move forward here, we will be able to see it's going to be Bruno Vieira again with some A's and B's here. Let's go ahead and see what's happening with these boys. So it looks like it's all A's with one B with Ebeline there at the front of this race. We currently above us have the B category results. We'll see if we can bring in for you the A's as we continue to move forward from that feed. But it looks like it is going to be a lead group then of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 7 riders. But Hodges has fallen off terms from the front of the race at this point. So Bruno Vieira leading it out at 5.6 watts per kilogram right now. Solid effort coming from Bruno with Cliven sitting on that wheel. And it looks like also in the B category, quick little mention, we do have a few upgrades. 4.4 watts per kilogram coming from Spears and Gee. They're at 4.1. So make sure to be jumping into the correct categories when you can. Well, before you jump into the races, make sure you're checking ZwiftPower.com for the updates on what the kind of watts per kilogram you held throughout the race. Bruno Vieira here with another attack, actually. And up into that orange numbers, whenever you see those orange numbers out on Zwift, you definitely have a serious attack that can't be held for much more than 32 seconds to maybe a minute or so. Bruno Vieira now has a little bit of a gap, but not going anywhere. As Adrian Timmins grabs right onto that wheel. Stay up here now with a little bit of struggle. Stays onto a few of the wheels, trusting that it's going to be closed down. Looks like Adrian, though, fading a little bit, not going much of anywhere. As we do see Badur and Quentin LaFay still on terms there. Hodge is now just a little ways back here, being chased down by Atwell at 12 seconds back with a large group containing Spears and Gee, as you can see here. This is the front according to ZwiftPower.com, the front of the B race containing Ebeline and Spears, now racing in the A category, it says there, but was picked up as a B, I believe, but definitely racing in the A category. It says A in his name there. So Ebeline here, it looks like going to be the current leader in this B category, as you can see up above my head here. A little ways forward then a little ways back from them. We are not going to be able to see, actually, as we just lost that section out on course here. But we'll keep on moving forward. We do see in this other feed here, we do have Hansen. As he has fallen off pace here from that front group. He was off the front immediately, burned a few too many matches, it looks like, and is trying to chase down anybody he can. We do see Quentin LaFay there just a little ways up from him, about 2 minutes up from him. And there's quite a few actually in between Quentin LaFay, Hodges, Hansen there, in between, in that gap there. We'll see if we can bring all of them in to the feeds here. But as you can see in the A category, we finally got things all worked out here where we can bring in the live results for the A's and look at who is all here and what kind of watts per kilogram that they have put out. We do have A Syrup here with J-Lud Badur, as well as Clive and Bruno Vera, Timmins there, Quentin LaFay, Hodges, Grass here, 4.2 watts per kilogram, Whitehead 4.2, and Atwell 4.0. Now, this course does lend to people taking it a little bit easier, actually, as there is definitely a entire section where these riders just kind of hold hands out there out on course. They definitely will hang out, sit in the pack a little bit, and not make too many attacks, as there really isn't a whole lot that can be gained by attacking over and over again on these flatter sections of course. Just like in real life, you have these sections where you can try and get away off the front, but if the group just decides to work together and chase you down, it becomes somewhat of a futile attempt. So you get these sections where the watts per kilogram start to lower and come down. You do see Quentin LaFay's been playing the smarter game here, 3.9 watts per kilogram for the duration of the race. The hardest working of them all today so far, according to watts per kilogram, would be Adrian Timmins there. He does have that verified badge that you can see in game, saying that he is an ex-pro, a known cyclist in the world of cycling, was and raced at the highest level actually in the sport, in the Tour de France with a World Tour team. A little ways back from them, we do see it is going to be Hodges, as well as Spears, Atwell, the Whitehead, and the rest of them as a part of the main chase group out here today. Frank the Tank says, anybody noticed a change in drafting figures since last update? Didn't seem to get caught in sticky draft last night. No, I have not noticed anything. I haven't seen anything on any of the forums, but go ahead, and anybody has seen anything, love to see any comments on that. If anybody has any experience or any knowledge on if there has been any changes. I know a lot of people out there on the techie side of things do a lot of experience when they do believe there has been any changes. So any experiments that have been done recently, love to hear all about them. C. Spears here now looks like very motivated actually to make the chase here. 143 beats per minute, 5.1, 5.0 watts per kilogram coming out of the USA. As you can see here, Hodges just hanging onto that wheel. 25 seconds is all the gap is. They could actually make this happen and get back on terms with the front of this race with the right amount of effort. This is still a race for a top 10 position actually amongst these boys. Caden Sports now, actually it is Badur here going into 12 watts per kilogram before this downhill section out on course, looking for some speed, 32 miles per hour. Tim is now following 33, it looks like here, right along with Cliven. Bruno Vieira now wowzers, huge efforts coming from these boys, trying to drop off anybody they can. Quentin now not putting out too much of an effort, just trusting he's going to be able to grab a wheel here and get dragged back up, it looks like at this point. Maybe unable to, actually. 175 beats per minute. Very high heart rate for Mr. Quentin LeFay. It looks like there is a little bit of breathing room between these boys and girls. It's going to be a very difficult day for Quentin now. 18 meters off the back. Not going to have any kind of draft at this point. Bruno Vera still at the front, 3.4 watts per kilogram. This is a serious moment to drop one or two off to not have to deal with another rider from Vision Cycling here. Quentin still working hard to get back on terms. 180 beats per minute. Caden Sports here now up into that 5 watts per kilogram just to grab that wheel from the BRT riders. You cannot let any space go between you and the other riders. 5 meters still between Quentin and the other riders. Now finally grabs on to that wheel and is able to hang on and not get dropped off. Serious attacks though coming here from these riders. Now it was actually Badur, his teammate, that instigated that, but there was counters coming from Clive and Sarah up there as well as Bruno Vieira that caused a little bit of mayhem in the legs, I believe, of Mr. LeFay out there today. So back to the B category. At the front of the B category still, we do have, it looks like Ebeline here now in this chase group with Hodges, Atwell, and Whitehead, as long as Spears. They're only 22 seconds back, actually, from the front end of the race. So super solid effort coming from these boys. It looks like the time gap was out to 31 seconds to Guy at one point, but he was able, well, actually, excuse me, that's the gap to the front of the race. So 140 to, it looks like, Vagensen? Or excuse me, Haagensen, not Vagensen, Haagensen there. 140 with Christopher as well, working together with him to make something happen to try and get back into this B category race. There's still time to make up that gap, but it is a huge gap in order to do so. The gap to the very, very front of the race, though, continues to fall now at this point as we go back to LeFay, Clive, and Bruno Vera, Badur. It looks like we did see a couple of little attacks here, but it's down to 15 seconds at this point. These boys are working together very, very well. Whitehead now off the back by about 2 seconds. 8 watts per kilogram real quick coming from him to get back on turns. Maybe a little dropout or maybe just lost attention there for a second to hold on to that gap. Grass now bumping into that 4.9 watts per kilogram. Bruno Vieira now maybe seeing a little bit of a threat or trying to be a threat as he makes an attack on the downhill section here up into that 7 watts per kilogram, as you can see. So back with these boys here, you do see a crazy attack actually coming from Bruno Vieira out into 10 seconds, actually 10 seconds at this point to Bruno Vieira. And back to this chase group, it is only 14 seconds then, only 10 seconds to Cliven, actually. If they can get back on terms with these boys now, Atwell and the rest, if they have any kind of an effort through this industrial park, they will be back before Libby Hill, but Libby Hill and 23rd Street and Governor are still coming. It's going to be very, very difficult to try and hang on with these boys, as these guys will have been working very hard together at around a threshold effort to try and get back on terms with the front of this race. And we are seeing, it looks like outdoor drafting seems unchanged, so I think all is good. CS Tricks is saying wind is still there in real life. I checked. I haven't noticed draft changes, but not Ryan Zwift a lot the last week. Martin is now cheering on, it looks like, Grass here, looking for maybe a good result, it looks like, for the rider there from Team SZR, I believe, as well. Yep, it does look like Team SZ there. Still 4.8 watts per kilogram right along with Spears there, working very well together. It's only 4 seconds. They made up a huge gap in this part of this section, of course. But right back to the front of the race, though, we do see Bruno Vieira still with 5 seconds and a huge huge attack coming from Brador as well as Timus, and then Cliven 2 seconds off the back here. Right before they're about to catch that 5-second gap is still there. Quinn the Fade dropped off by 2 seconds. Syrup is there as well. Cliven unable to hold on. There is the gap to Quinton and the rest, but at the front of the race, the pointy end of the race here, we do see that it's going to be Caden Sports and Bruno Vieira and Bajor here. Look at this top view. You can see the three riders have a whole lot of space between them and anyone else. Nobody even within the camera shot any longer. They've got the gap to work with at this point, but this has gone super, super early. Will they be able to hold on to it? They were the strongest men over the top of Libby, 23rd, and Governor, and I think they know it, and they know who to work together with. They know that this is the moment to make this gap go out. And because of this, the motivation then from the chase that was a part of this group that had gotten dropped off has gone completely out, and at this point they have been caught. And you can see the front of the B right along with the chase groups in the A are all back together with Atwell here 4.0 watts per kilogram, and all that work throughout the entire lap here on this second lap has really paid off for these riders here today. So it's going to be a fight still for a top 5 position for those boys as they have made back to the front end of the race, especially for those B category riders, Ebeline, and it looks like Ebeline actually getting the best of the rest of them here. Spears, I think, in there as well, but Spears does have an A category in his name, so definitely racing against him. It will be Ebeline then, along with nobody else, I don't think, in this B category right now. So solid ride there coming from Ebeline in order to get away from, it looks like, Christopher as well as Hogginson out there today. Conversation tonight. Honey wants to visit. What are you talking about there, CS Tricks? Interesting conversation there happening about going out dancing. Hey there, CS Tricks. Good to see the conversation heading in the right direction there. Appreciate it very much. So if you are just joining into the broadcast, it looks like we did have a couple of shares over on Facebook. And we did have our concurrent viewers go up quite a bit there just a moment ago. And you're just joining in. You're like, oh, man, I didn't know that this was live. What's going on here? I'm glad to catch this now. Make sure to head on over to our Twitch channel in order to get live notifications. Every single time that we go live, you can get a notification for when we do go live over, through Twitch. If you sign up over on Twitch, hit that follow button. You will get a live notification every single time we go live over there, as well as the chat and the HD broadcasts that everybody's getting over at the Twitch channel right now. Caden Sports now 3.3 watts per kilogram. You can see up at the front here, right along with Bruno Vieira. They do have that 18-second gaps. I'm not sure these boys are going to be caught, and they're just about to start Libby Hill right now. This is the deciding moment every single time. Libby 23rd to Governor. Bruno Vieira now at the front, 4.4 watts per kilogram, 167 beats per minute. Bradura now 155. Timus now 159. Nobody really had any kind of crazy effort just yet. A lot of beats to work with. Hodges now 13 seconds back, 7.3 watts per kilogram coming from him, as you can see there. But here goes Brador, 7.1 watts per kilogram. Let's take a look here. What kind of gaps are going to be formed? Up and out of the saddle, as you can see, the effort is there into those pedals, so the avatar stands up. Now you can see the tuck there. Every time he tucks there, it's almost like a sprint effort. 9 watts per kilogram here. Continuing on as Timus here tries to hang on to that wheel. Bruno now following off 3 seconds back and maybe going to suffer from all the efforts he put out early on now. As you can see here, it's going to be Bajur and Kane Sports here. Timus now trying to make this gap continue to open up. And as we look over the shoulder, there's the gap to Bruno. He is gone. Syrup now coming on like crazy. 9 watts per kilogram coming from him here. And as you can see, he has got a ton of motivation to close this down to Bruno and maybe even catch Bador and Timus. And he did this last time too. He sat in, and then he caught all the riders right before the line on the lap. Can he do it again? It's out to 6 seconds at this point. He goes flying right on by Bruno Vieira. Cliven's sitting on his wheel here. These two might be working together to close this down, and this is an interesting dynamic to this race, really changing things up here with this effort at the end here from the Danish rider here, right along with the rider coming out of Norway, Cliven, as it is only 6-7 now, 7 seconds after Bador. Timus now trying to hang on to Bador. It goes back out to 1 second here. He's trying to break him as much as he possibly can. Nothing's happening though, as Timus just tries to hang on. Syrup now 4.2 watts become 173 beats per minute, going in there as going crazy as well here, but it looks like Bruno now has fallen off. Quentin LaFay now just trying to hang on to a top 10 position here. Hodges with Whitehead. Grass hanging on just barely there. 178 beats per minute. Getting some cheers from his fellow teammates here in the Twitch channel from Team SZ. It's only a 20-second difference or so, though, from the top two to the chase group. But it's gone out to 24 now. But that'll come down very quickly as Syrup and the rest do bring their miles per hour up to 42, 43 miles per hour. So, Kane Sport, though, with 22 seconds now at this point. Timus now trying to get away now, as we do see 9 watts per kilogram being kicked. Now back in the 9 watts per kilogram as Bedore comes right on by, and it looks like Timus has another kick in the orange numbers. Will he be able to get away at this point? I don't think any of these boys are going to be breaking the others, though, at over the top of this climb. 10 seconds is what the difference is. That will go out again, though, as these boys do round out the top. Unless Syrup has crazy orange numbers all the way to the top of this climb, him and Cliven are really going to have to put in some work to close this down before the top of Governor Street. There's a lot of time, there's a lot of landscape yet left, though, with some uphill grades to bring back the seconds, but it's going to have to happen in this last few K. Cliven now just trying to hang on to the Danish rider's wheel. It looks like he's got the watts to give up and over the top, has the speed, will grab onto the wheel, but there is no respite for these boys because they have to close down a 12-second gap before the finish today. This is for all the chips, boys, and girls. This is the final K or two here before the finish in the SZR Summer Race Series here on this May 5th, 2017. 17 seconds out to Bedore and Kane Sports here with Adrian Timmins now, and 19.4 miles total is what they have been racing. Looks like Cliven 16 seconds back. 16 seconds is a huge gap. Now down to 15, though. I think that's going to come down within 10 by the time these boys hit the bottom of this downhill gradient. Now 14 seconds. You do see it falling little by little, but Syrup here trying to rest up, it looks like, and it looks like these boys at the front still have 4 watts per kilogram to give. It looks like they're going to be able to hold them off. There's going to have to be a insane amount of effort here coming from BRT, Cliven here, as well as Syrup to try and close this down. There is a battle here between Quentin LaFay and Jay Hodges. Bruno Vieira now 5 seconds back to Grass Whitehead. This is still a battle here for these top 10 positions between all of these boys now. So Bedure here now 13 seconds up. It has fallen just a little bit. I'm not sure they're going to be able to hold on as Syrup's kicking up into that 5 watts per kilogram as they start the final climb here out here today in this race for SZR Summer Series. Abilene here now, as you can see, looking back just a little ways, it looks like Mr. Abilene is 3.4 watts per kilogram or so. Going to be winning the B race, as you can see above me, for the current results. So solid ride coming from him. Let's move on our way back to the front, though, as we can bring up the live results for the A category as they make their finish. So Adrian Timmins here, 6.2 watts per kilogram. At the front, he's got only 8 seconds, so it has been brought down by a full-on 10 seconds. Does Cliven have the effort all the way to the top? He's going to have to put out over 6 watts per kilogram to the top of this 2-minute climb or so. It looks like it's gone down to 7 seconds. Now 6 seconds. These boys are making the chase there, and it looks like Bedure now, though, now trying to make his way to the front. They see the threat coming here, 5.8 watts per kilogram. They're probably going to try and hold off a little bit to have a kick to the line here, as Cliven and the rest here are going to have to throw everything they have in the pedals just to grab back onto the wheel. If they do grab that wheel as soon as they come to the top, though, they may be able to get a draft, but it looks like it's 7, 8 seconds. These boys are already almost up over the top. It's going to be curtains for any kind of ability. Syrup now kicking to 9 watts per kilogram. He sees that it's now or never. 173 beats per minute. Now Kane Sports here with Adrian Timmins now up at the front. 5.5 watts per kilogram, but the orange numbers are coming from Syrup. Now he knows he's just got to go for it now. We do see Bedore going from way out, though. There's Syrup now 8.5 watts per kilogram. Timmins now 8.8. Knows he's got to follow the Vision Rider's wheel, but unable to do so. He fades at 170 beats per minute after coming up and over the top of that climb, as Bedure just goes for it and has a gap of 3 seconds. It looks like he's going to be able to pull this off. Syrup still coming on crazy, though, here. Effort there coming from him. Adrian now trying to hold him off. As we look from the top view here, it looks like he's going to be able to do so. Bedure now just crossing the line. Timmins there going to be taking second. It's going to be everybody in their own race at this point. Now third place is going to go to a Syrup, followed by Cliven about 10 seconds back. Quentin LaFay then is going to be coming in, I believe, for 5th place. out there today, followed very closely by Bruno Vera and James Hodges. Will they be able to battle it out here to the line? Looks like Hodges is faded just a little bit before the line, is going to need to be settling for a 7th place. Whitehead battling it out, it looks like, with Grass here. Grass having a solid, very solid race, it looks like, and he's going to be trying to grab onto that 8th place out there today as he slips right on by Whitehead before the line. Crazy effort by all around. Now for the B category, let's go ahead and see what the results are saying out here for them. As we merge in the results there for the B category, it looks like Ebeling at 3.8 watts per kilogram will be within category limits, so solid result for him, as we are back with a few of the chasers in the B category as they make their way to the line. We do have Guy along with Hansen. Guy, though, a part of the A category, actually, it looks like, with recent upgrades. So I believe just a mistake there coming from the ZwiftPower.com feed there. But definitely a solid effort here for Guy from the PTZ team as he makes his way across the line. What an effort there all around. Martin saying crazy effort. Great job to everybody all around. Definitely. Martin, thanks a lot for putting these on, hanging out in the broadcast. Definitely awesome. I do believe we have Matt Rowe hanging out here. Good to see him out on course and getting a little bit of a workout here. Some announcements down the road for stuff about Matt Rowe actually on its way. So good to see him out there getting a workout in. So moving our way back, we're going to try and find the rest of the racers as it looks like we do have quite a few more in the B and the C category, but these boys, they just absolutely hammered and created quite a gap for themselves actually in the race. But we do have, it looks like, the Haagensen here coming in this B category. It looks like it's going to be for 4th place actually out there today. So solid effort for him making his way to the line. Looks like we also do have G. O'Malley 22 seconds back from him. And we'll go ahead and bring in G. O'Malley's feed as he's about to make his way to the line as well. We do have a Christopher here in the A category. Hammered away, nice job to Christopher as he makes his way to the line somewhere just outside the top 10, I believe, in the A's. Oh, it looks like Casey is saying that they're seeing a lot of SZR C's on 23rd right now. So we'd see if we can get back there. There's a lot of people logging in to game right now. Very, very popular time to be on Zwift right now. Always well over 1,000 people out on Zwift on the live course during this time of day. So always can be a little bit difficult at times to find the feeds for the broadcast at this time of day. So back with, it looks like, the front of the C category. We'll see if we can find the correct results above us here for that. But we do have Mitchell here, I believe, leading things out here in the C category. Above me, we do have the B category results right now. We will be bringing in the C's here in just a moment as we find this section. Of course, Mitchell just starting his climb up and over the top of Governor Street. It looks like being chased down by a few B-boys, but there is a battle here for the C categories. We have Domingos as well as Vesman here, only 7 seconds back from this rider. So definitely anybody's race in this C category if they can close down that 7-second gap that Mitchell has here. So solid effort here from Mitchell trying to hold him off. As you can see here, Mitchell here, 4.0 watts per kilogram, 157 beats per minute currently. We do see that it is going to be Dominguez 8 seconds back, about 3.9 or so. So they're holding just a little bit less watts per kilogram, trying to grab back onto that wheel. They're going to have to make it happen right now, though, if they are going to get back on terms with Mr. Mitchell here. We do have the ZipPower.com results above us now from the C category here. Mitchell, 4.2 watts per kilogram. He's put out a solid 3.3. We'll get an upgrade if he holds on to this, and I think he will. We do have, it looks like, Vanderwall there then at about 3.1. Vestman there 3.0 for the duration of the race. Dominguez there 3.4. Solid efforts all around. And there is a large group then, as you can see, trying to chase him down, but it's going to be too little too late, as it looks like Mitchell was able to break them through Libby Hill, 23rd Street, and then now hold on to that gap up and over the top of Governor Street as they make their way into the sprint finish area here. Stephanie right along with Baker and Vanderwall here. They're able to break off a couple of the riders from the back of the group and get a little bit of breathing room for their sprint to the line in this CB category result. Mitchell now 3.6 watts per kilogram, though, at the front here, going to be winning the SZR race in the C category here with just a little bit over limit, though, at 3.3 watts per kilogram and getting an upgrade into that B category. Baker now kicking it again, trying to drop off, it looks like, Hazarika in this B category race now at 5.5 watts per kilogram, and it looks like he will get a little bit of breathing room, and it looks like Harika Stephanie now is going to be okay with that and just try and hold off Vanderwall and Vestman as they battle to the line in the C category. 4.1 watts per kilogram coming from Vanderwall, trying to get back on terms with Stephanie, but it's not going to happen as they make their way to the line. So it will be Mitchell first one across the line in the C category, followed by, I believe, Vanderwall and Stephanie there. Vestman then as well. It looks like Mitchell then just faded right at the line there. It was like, I am diggity done. He put in a huge effort to stay away. Pereira now just crossed the line in that B category. Dominguez as well in the C category. Orlid now here holding off, it looks like, Team Standard there out of Germany with M. Sanger. Nice, it looks like, effort there coming from him to the line. 182 beats per minute. Absolutely huge effort there from Standards. He crosses that world's course finish line. We do have spotting here out on course. What is this kit? Is this the Z? Anybody familiar with this kit? This is a new kit, actually, out on course here. And quick little spotting here that I'm going to try and bring into the broadcast, actually. New kit out on course. I am spotting Mr. Greg Henderson, actually, I believe, a part of this ride right now, coming out of New Zealand. And we can go ahead and bring in, oh, excuse me, sorry about that. It looks like in a Z Sun. So it is the Z Sun kit, it looks like. A new kit out on Zwift that has been recently introduced. As you can see here, big old sun with a Z in there. Makes a lot of sense. And Greg Henderson here out on course making his appearance amongst the Z Sun crowd. So good to see him hanging out amongst this group as we try and find the rest of the D and C category riders that are making their way to the line for the end of the rest of the SZRs today. But good to see that new kit. Very cool Z-Sun kit there for that group ride. If you're unfamiliar with Zwift, you know, a lot of people they tune into the broadcast and think it's just all about racing out on Zwift. Zwift definitely has some racing going on, but a whole lot of group rides being a huge focus as well. And it's just about to cross the line here, it looks like, in the C category, followed by Kapala and then Doddridge. It looks like GP and Pelotas as well in this C category race. And as they do just cross the line there in just a moment, about 13 seconds back will be Pelotas coming out of Sweden, followed by Marahoff and then Piolet coming from France. Looks like we do have just a little ways back, DFOB ANT Berlin Dresden coming out of Germany here on a TT bike, followed by Druv and then M. Bunting in that C category as well. So if you're just tuning in, we have been covering the SZR race series, and this was the race on May the 5th, May the 10th, 5/10, 2017. The A's have finished up today. as well as the B's, and then some of the C's are getting across the line. A lot of riders are out there still finishing up. A lot of riders just cooling down. We're going to get you the results here in just a moment, as we can bring in the A's, as they are mainly all finished out there today. So as these riders make their way to the line, we can take a look at what the results are for the A category today. Jeff Le Badur there, 4.6 watts per kilogram, 45.08 finishing time, followed by Adrian Timmis right at the line there. Andreas Syrup Larson in third place, followed by Cliven from the BRT team, and then Quentin LaFay in fifth. Bruno Vieira around taking that sixth place, solid result for him. And then we do have, it looks like, James Hodges and Ross Whitehead then rounding out the top 8. Andreas Grass and David Otwell, top 10. Nice results all around for them. As it looks like Grass just 24 seconds back. I know Martin was really cheering on his fellow teammate there, and a solid result there for Grass, as I believe not always grabbing a top 10. So really some, it looks like some advances in abilities and results out there today. I believe in the women's category, we did just have a finisher, C. Sellen. I want to definitely check that out, but let's go ahead and check out what's happening with the B category here. As we can see, it is going to be Simon Ebeling with that last minute attack up and over the top of the Libby Hill and 23rd Street. Did get that gap and was able to hold off for just 1 second over Chandler Spears and then Guy DeRosa, followed by Vidar, and then we will be having Crete Stauffer and Brad Curtis, M. Baker, Matt Stephanie. Now these are preliminary results, as I do believe a few of these were A category riders that did get registered into this into these results actually. So just so everybody knows, these are preliminary results. In the C category, then, we do have, it looks like, a few riders still finishing up. We do have M. Bexel. Good to see him hammering away here, trying to catch T. Teeds, but it looks like Teeds is going to get away out of the UK. So we'll go ahead and give these riders some ride-ons as they make their way to the line. We want to make sure to highlight everybody's results that we possibly can. So as Bexel makes his way to the line, let's go ahead and bring in the C category results, as he's going to be a little ways out of the top 10. Tyler Mitchell, followed by Jamie Vanderwall, Dennis Westman, David Dominguez, and then it will be Frederic and H. Martin, Nick Holm. Bart Kappa looks like with Mark Doddridge and Peter Palotes. That is the top 10 just now. It looks like Bexel just coming away across the line there. We'll be getting that 14th place just behind T. Teeds, as you saw them cross the line with M. Allen there as well. We do have, it looks like, a few more riders in that D category making their way to the line. I believe we're going to go ahead and see if we can find any of them. And a few things that we do want to chat about before we go as well. We have coming up no Wednesday Watopia ride tonight. Scotty Weiss had a bottom bracket explode and only has a TT bike, so we will not be able to run the ride tonight. Tomorrow morning we will be having more eCrit series, so make sure to tune in for that. If you are in Australia and you haven't checked out the eCrit series yet and you would like to get involved in that, or if you're from anywhere, you can race in the race, but to qualify, to use it as a qualifier for the real life events, you need to race as many of those races as you possibly can. The eCrit series will be finishing up with a live event that you can qualify for in order to race live in Australia, actually. So make sure to sign up for those if you're interested in it. All the details can be found on the Zwift events. Just look up as well as Zwift eCrit series. Lots of information out there about it. So if you'd like to jump into that, we are broadcasting those live on Zwift Community Live. Also tomorrow we will be doing KISS, and I believe we may be adding the XRS as well tomorrow. So we're going to get some more coverage going for sure for more of the races out there as we start building up again into this almost like summer season that's starting to develop, which is really interesting for Zwift. But we're definitely starting to develop this kind of summer season out there now. Now in the D category, we do have a few racers making their way to the line. So before we get into the results for the D category, we want to make sure to highlight the racers that are making their way to the line. We do have, it looks like, Valderas here, 20.2 miles in, 2.4 watts per kilogram, right along with ADZ Lauren here from Spain making their way to the line. Huggart now just about, man, what a battle all the way through here. This has been it looked 59 minutes in the saddle here, coming down to 13 seconds at the line. What an amazing effort from all these riders. P. Hopkins is there as well, 169 beats per minute, trying to make his way to the line and maybe catch Huggart there. 2.6 watts per kilogram. Huggart now 2.3. Lauren now 15 seconds back. Everybody kind of in their own solo TT effort now, just trying to get the best time that they possibly can. Valderas now 1.6 watts per kilogram, really fading at this point as Lauren now continues at 2.4 watts per kilogram. So definitely a solid effort here coming from Lauren, trying to make that chase, but with 15 seconds, just not enough landscape left to get back with Valderas. We'll have to wait and see if this was the first D category. 2.6 though, what is going on here? Will he make it to the line here? 2.5. He's trying to make it interesting, it seems like. Maybe he knows that he's a part of the broadcast and just wants a sprint. I'm not sure. But this is definitely getting interesting as Lauren now is making the chase here. Can we bring in all the way to the line now? As we can see here, Lauren now, solid effort. 4 seconds is the difference here. Let's go ahead and get from Lauren's perspective now. As you can see, almost catching back up to Valderas, but Valderas now 0.9. And ADZ Lauren now almost going to catch him and gets right to the line. There it is, boys and girls, goes right on by. What even happened? I don't even know. That was interesting. Valderas ends up with second place. And that was definitely a battle all the way to the line. I have a feeling that there was just nothing left, as third place will be bringing it in here as Huggart now 2.1 watts per kilogram. And looks like Lauren right on the edge at 2.5 there will be taking the win, I believe, once they do update the results above us there. That was really, really interesting. Huggart now just coming across the line for third place in the D category. Fourth place then, I believe, was just a little ways back with Hopkins there, just coming across the line. Always nice. What's going on, Jerry Delport? Good to see you. I did see your comments, Delport, about our replays. So that's another thing, is we are starting to do 24/7 broadcasting and replaying a lot of the broadcasts. So if there's a couple of things coming down the line. We're going to be having workout modes. We're going to be having a lot of different stuff coming down the line that will be very interesting for 24/7 broadcasts. It's something we're experimenting with, and you will see a lot more 24/7 broadcasts coming very soon here. Let's go ahead and look at the final results here for the D categories. We just saw them come across the line. Lorenzo Garcia with that last second catch there grabs the win, I believe, over Valderas. I believe. We'll have to wait and see. I think that's the latest results, followed by Huggart and then P. Hopkins and S. Jones to the line. CS Trixie, see ya. Gotta go mow the forest before the next 4 day of rain. All right, sounds good. Looking through over at the Facebook comments. We just got Jens in there. Jeff for the W. Thanks a lot, Jens, for joining in on the broadcast over there. So I think that's going to be it for the racing for us today. If you got any questions or any comments, make sure to bring them my way right now. And we will make sure to answer them. We are seeing Delport saying that that's great to hear. I will get no sleep then. And I definitely so that means with the, I think he's talking about the 24-hour broadcast coming. No sleep and no work, as he's going to be watching nothing but Zwift racing for the rest of his life, it sounds like. Great to hear. All right. Well, I'll leave you with some of our latest driven music here. And as always, great job to all the racers out there, as they did a great job, and big old ride on to everybody. out there today in the races and in the world of Zwift. We'll see you tomorrow for the eCrit series as well as the XRS and the KISS races as well. Right on.
I know that I can ride my bike with no handlebars. And so can you.